devil is definitely in the details. Interestingly enough, last session we did the very thing that was the question that was asked, which was present bills to the legislature that restricted and prohibited the use of any public funds for the project. And Texas Central fought us tooth and nail, where they were successful in getting it removed. So I think you will notice that he did not answer the question if they will actually support the legislation. We'd be glad to sit down with you and draft the legislation and find a co-sponsor that would do that if y'all are interested. The other thing to keep in mind is I think that I'd like to see that Reason Foundation report, because I remember him saying that it was okay if you got a shot at it until he found out about the loans. And I also very clearly recall Ron Kirk saying we will aggressively seek those loans, not that we're just going to look around and test the waters. He was very clear and very adamant that y'all will be seeking those very aggressively. So that's what happened. All right, our next one is another fun question, and for you folks. And I'll just read it verbatim, because it's wonderful handwriting. It says, I believe that we must move toward high-speed rail. If you have the money, TCP could negotiate deals for all the properties needed without the need for eminent domain. Is that a possible outcome?
That's absolutely our goal, is to work with landowners, to be good neighbors, to offer above market value, so that landowners that are in this infrastructure zone, I-45, Burlington Northern, high-powered grid, these landowners already pretty much know that that land's in an infrastructure zone. We have an electric train. It's going to clean up the air while it moves people, so we're going to use this zone, and we'll work with the landowners. And in January, you'll have a chance to see how many private property landowners have agreed to the free market, and they're not looking at California-style government regulations, more bureaucracy, to come in and have bigger government. We've got a libertarian project that is no laws that really need to be added to the eminent domain law that's already in place. We've got a great state protection of private property owners that's in place. We don't agree with counties that try to do ordinance making authority. We don't think they have that right. We don't think the Constitution gives that right to counties, but they're trying to do ordinance making authority. And motives are being asked about us, but what about the motives of people that oppose us? You know, the Chinese are also interested in putting in a high-speed rail. There's some public paperwork already filed. We sometimes wonder if the people opposing us are maybe helping somebody else come into this marketplace. Wouldn't that be interesting? Wouldn't that be interesting? We also wonder if some of the people that are opposing us are looking to use our project to run for some other office. We just wonder if that might be a motive for questioning the fact that the private sector wants to come in, take the risk, and use the existing laws, and the people that say we don't have authority basically say that there's no competition in Texas, that we close the doors on Texas, and that rail companies that are here, you have it, but no other new company should have the right to come into our state and be competitive. So we don't think that's right either. We think that this state was founded on the principles of free market, free enterprise, entrepreneurship, low government, less government, but we're seeing the opposite sometimes.
Okay, now the question was about eminent domain, so let me ask a follow-up, which is, do you believe that under current law that you have eminent domain authority in Texas? And then we'll go to the other side.
Sure. Yes, sir. Yes, Representatives. We are a railroad in the state of Texas, established for the purpose of building and operating a railroad. And private railroads were as I understand it, the first private industries and legislature allowed to use that authority under certain circumstances. And there are lots of landowner protections put in place since then. I believe it was late 1800s. So yes, sir, as a railroad in Texas, we do have that authority.
So you get your authority from Chapter 81 of the Property Code, the railroad chapter, 112 and 131. Okay. All right. Well, hang on. Are you different? Oh, different question. Well, let's stick to the format. Let's be fair to everybody, and we We asked everybody to write questions on the cards, and that's what we're going to do.
Okay, Mr. Mosley mentioned absolutely that's his goal, to buy everybody out. But I'll remind you, goal's one thing, actually doing it's another. They've raised less than 1% of the money. The offer is interesting that the offers they make, all these offers they're talking about, contracts that they're getting executed, are options to buy. By December 31st, 2019, they'll put, in the latest ones we've seen, they give them 5% down today, 5% for just the strip of the rail system, not even the whole property, with the option to close on that strip by December 31st, 2019. Now, remember, these people are settling, and why are they settling? Because there's a letter right behind it that says, we have eminent domain, and we're going to sue you if you don't let us on your property. And a lot of people don't have the money to fight that. And they accept that disguise that they have eminent domain. So that's one thing. He also mentioned counties do not have the right. He was a county judge, I'm a county judge. I think we both agree counties have statutory authority. Can you hand me that top paper right there? To provide general maintenance to county roads. We have that authority. Here it is, Texas Transportation Code 251 provides, the Commissioner's Court of a county may make and enforce all necessary rules and orders for the construction and maintenance of public roads. So when they're building a 20-foot tall land berm across a county road, and my right-of-way is 30 feet, and I need to ensure that as my county grows, that I need to expand that roadway to 120 or 360 feet. Don't you think the county has the right, because it has eminent domain too, so you have competing eminent domain instances there if they have it. But don't we have the right to maintain that and ensure that we have the proper room to expand our roads, and that their need to make a profit does not overrule the infrastructure needs of our local population? You know, it's very clear. It's very clear. We have that authority. The other one, he mentioned political aspirations. Sure, there might be political aspirations for a lot of people out there. But it's also possible, just possible, that there aren't any political aspirations. That there are leaders out there that take this job as a public servant very seriously and give it 110% of their effort. It's possible we just have a volunteer. We don't make any money off of this. We give our time and effort and dedication to this. We're very passionate about it. And it's to protect the people that elected me. That's why I do it. And Kyle Workman is just a good American, a good Texan. He has good Texas values, and he's fighting to protect those as well.
Now we have more questions. They're going to kick us out. Actually, how long do we have to work? I scheduled the 6 to 8, but I don't know how late we have it. But we definitely will try to get out on time. Now this is primarily a forum for House District 132, and so our constituents can get a feel for it. But we understand there are a lot of folks from the middle of the state, and so there's a basic question that comes up a lot here, which is, when will the middle station be open in relation to the two stations in Houston and Dallas? And where exactly would that station be that you've alluded to, where people could go to A&M or San Houston State? And do you know? And if you do, can you tell the folks?
Thanks for the question. We get this a lot. On day one of operation, we'll have 3 passenger stations: Houston, Brazos Valley, and Dallas. The Brazos Valley station we get questions about because it's not in the middle of a city like the other, or in the middle of a populous region like the other stations are. And this is really a case in point with a private project versus a public project. A public project tends to connect other public assets: convention center, airport, city hall, the sports stadiums, you know, all the rest of it. A private project doesn't have that luxury. We have to go to where the market is today, and we looked at what would it cost to build a line into the city of Bryan, city of College Station, have a station right there in College Station. And what we saw was that county, Brazos County, and the city, that region, it really generates a lot of traffic, not just universities, a lot of economic activity. But the cost that our private company would have incurred to build a track to serve that city directly would not have been recovered over time through fare box revenue. So that's one of the decisions made based purely on market-based principles that said, you know what, we can put a station there in Grimes County, in the Brazos Valley, serve that region. Makes it about a 30-minute drive by car from A&M campus or from Sam Houston State campus. Puts you about an hour and a half from Dallas if you're at A&M on campus. So that's the brief story of the genesis of the Brazos Valley Station. And the answer is, on day one, 3 stations. Oh, thank you for that. Where is the station going to be? The final location of the site we've selected will be public when the draft environmental impact statement is released, which is scheduled for January, February, but it is in northern Grimes County, and it's on the main line. So if you see where that main line is on the map, it's located directly on the main line. And that's as much as we're able to discuss today, but it will be public January, February timeframe when the FRA releases the maps.
Do you have any? You do? I have a stake in this county, in Grimes County. Okay, the answer to that, from my perspective, is it's not going to be in Grimes County. That's my answer. And the reason I want to talk to the regulation as well. So we did pass a permit requirement that any high-speed rail facility that comes through Grimes County would have to get a permit approved by Commissioner's Court. And that's for the purpose of managing the road, how it passes, and not shifting the cost of getting across that berm to the taxpayer, right? We're managing that and making sure that they would pay for that. So, but in that permit requirement would be a condition, if they cannot provide proof, sufficient proof that they have eminent domain, the permit will be denied, period. So that's a big hurdle they're going to have to get over, either legislatively with a fix or not. The other point I want to respond to, what you heard Mr. Kelly say, what he said was, why is it in Grimes County, why not College Station? I'm going to interpret that and just spell it out. Profit. It just doesn't fit their cost model. And that is the precise danger and why there's a conflict of interest between a private entity utilizing eminent domain authority, or attempting to, and when it conflicts with what's best for the public. You see, it's overriding, in that statement he made right there, it is overriding what's best for the public. Why not build, you could use existing, when they were questioned on, can you use existing rights-of-way, like I-45 corridor, let's just say, their answer was, we have to go 205 miles an hour. Why? Why? Because if you go 205 miles an hour, you can't take the curves. Yes, we understand that, but we're going to go 205 miles an hour. Is that what is best for the citizens? So, thank you.